That's a
Uh,
really that's a really good security measure. It starts right there with you.
yeah.
But
Security should be the users. We saw the administrator's responsibility. User administrator. Whatever.
but what do? They just go on and they just click that thing and they never forget. And then there's an option too to where you can see the hidden information because they always like to hide it. When you click on
Okay.
it, it shows you the advanced freaking information. They don't want to do that because that takes too much time. You know what I mean? When all you got to
Okay.
do is click on it and read and uncheck the marks or undo the check marks to say freaking add the extra stuff and it won't come on there. But most people don't do that, and then they wonder later on why their computer has spam and it's been hacked. You know?
Yeah.
I mean that to me is really the weird the bad part of it, and that was one of the things that really gets to me when it comes to that. Um, and that was one thing that I wanted to bring up when it came to that with the alternate, I know the alt tech platforms and the freaking the Mint Me, because like
Okay.
to this day, man, just because I put Mint Me in the description and shared it on X and Facebook, to this day, I still
Mm.
get freaking spammers coming onto my comment sections saying, "I," you know what I mean, in my videos, dude, saying, I have an issue with freaking so and so coin. What's your thoughts on it? And the video is not even about cryptocurrency, and
Mm.
you know what I mean, and just because I put their freaking link in my freaking description, now I keep getting those, and I have to freaking go in there and take them out of my comment section.
Okay.
So that's another aspect of the scam. You know what I mean? The internet is a big freaking scam, dude.
The
It's
internet itself isn't a scam.
you know what's next, right? Next we get into the big dog. We get into CDK Global. You
Again?
yeah, that's the reason why we were doing it again
Do
instead
we have to?
of he ran away. Well, I knew something was happening to his network, so um, uh, he started fading in and out of there. I know he has to freaking go out and come back in, but yeah. Now that I've started up that sends us down the path of a current event that happened concerning CDK Global. Um, now that is something that really stuck out to me. I've been wanting to do something relating to major hacks that took place in in uh, in the world, and this is one of the big ones that took place concerning car dealers here in the United States and in Canada. And I started doing research on it, and I found out that CDK, which is a organization that organizes and secures documents for a lot of car companies in the United States, was actually hacked and their data was held hostage. Um, and it caused a significant disruption for car dealers nationwide here in the United States. This actually led to shutdowns of systems and forced many of the dealerships to like go back to their manual processes where they actually had to do the process manually. So um, that's basically the gist of it. Hello, are you back?
Uh, uh, camera's not working, but not.
I
But
knew
yeah, I mean,
I knew something was happening. I ended up yeah, you're bouncing in and out. There you go. You're back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've been kind of
Cool.
getting bouncy back and forth. I went ahead and kind of explained what the whole situation for um, CDK Global
Yeah.
was. Now, before what I was bringing up, and I brought it up on uh, another series that we did with the DMS. DMS. Let's get that right this time.
Document management system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Because
Document management system.
me and you like had this huge conversation, and you misunderstood what I said because I forgot what.
Yeah, I thought you meant domain name system.
Yeah,
Domain name system. Yeah, you the DNS without any.
we were. By the
Mm.
time it was done, I was like, "Hold on, dude, what the hell are we talking about?" You know what I mean? It was like,
I was thinking.
now, see, with me, my whole theory is a DMS, which isn't new technology. This is stuff that they've been talking about since like the 1970s. Would have been perfect.
Document management
Yeah.
systems have been talked about. Filing cabinets have been talked about for hundreds of years.
Well, I mean, the actual,
Like that cabinet.
you know,
But yeah,
that
the principle. But yeah, filing cabinet is the principle of, isn't it? It's just an electronic filing cabinet.
right now it organizes and it
Yeah.
secures documents, okay, and it makes it easier to find and
Yeah.
share information. You know that, and they've been talking about this stuff. They've actually had seminars in different states here in the United States where people would get up and talk about this stuff for hours and just literally make you
Yeah.
fall asleep and shit. Like, you know what I mean? But it's been around forever. And my whole take on it
Yeah.
was, um, well, the whole thing about CDK. Let me make a point of this. CDK apparently didn't have backups available for these
Yeah.
files and everything when it came to freaking making sure that these car dealerships could still function. You know what I mean? And what happened was is these hackers, okay, or actually I should be like I was the last time because I know you get upset when I start using the word hacker too much. But
Okay.
what was it? These computer these people who were committing computer fraud. They
Yeah.
what they basically did was they turn around and they freaking stole this information and held it by using ransomware. It was a ransomware attack on CDK Global, and they wouldn't give the information back until they paid the ransom. And this has been going on with other corporations too. It goes on all the time. Matter of fact, Mark can tell you all about it.
Yeah.
He's a pro when it comes to that stuff. You know,
Actually, I've not read any recent reports in the last couple of months. I've just ignored reports. But yeah, did have a figure on the amount of US ransomware for last year, and I think it was something like about 2,000 convictions.
2000.
Say,
So you're
yeah,
telling me that in modern
no,
hacking,
there's no conviction.
it's gone from a handful to maybe the low hundreds to 2000 hacking
The in the US convicted.
alone. That's not globally.
Yeah,
All right.
no, that's just in the US. I would have to have a look at. Yeah, I would have to search for figures on that one.
Well, it's like I said before, this is a conversation. You don't have to get all technical if you don't want to. We're just having a
Yeah.
conversation hanging out. So, um,
But yeah, let's say 2,000 last year in the US.
all right. Now, see, the fact that they didn't have backup, that tells me that they could have at least had a freaking DMS. that organizes and secures
Did they
documents.
have paper-based? Did they have paper-based documentation?
That's what they ended up having to do it all by. And
Okay,
see,
uh, prior to.
now with filings though, okay, they have deadlines for this stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like whenever
yeah.
frickin' they make a sale on a car, they can't just let it sit for frickin' the longest time. They
2
have,
months, yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
There's a deadline that they have to have this documentation turned into. Um, and that's what the big issue was really when it came to it, because they had to take this freaking information after selling a car. They had to do it manually, and then they had to be able to turn it in according to a time limit so that they could freaking do it legally in the right way. So there was a big rush.
Mm,
It became more of a problem for the freaking people who were in Billings than what it was for the actual people who were out selling the vehicles. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it became a basic nightmare for these people. They probably actually haven't really done real work like that in decades, and then all of a sudden,
Mm,
they're having to freaking go back to the old ways. At least that's my interpretation of it.
okay.
You know, you don't have anything to say about that.
Mm,
You
mm,
agree? You agree with it?
yeah, 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 yeah. I agree with they needed to. Did they employ more people for the sort of administration rush?
Well, see, that's the whole thing about CDK, though. They're so shifty. Okay, the story doesn't really match
Right.
up. Like that, I couldn't find anything out like that whatsoever. You know what I mean? And then when I found out about their freaking parent company, that even got even more crazy. It makes me think that this was like maybe a freaking
Wasn't it an asset? It was an asset stripping company anyway,
yeah,
wasn't it?
yes, it
Yeah.
was.
We had a long discussion about yeah, the reason why CDK is or was in the situation it was. Because
Yeah,
it was its owners was an asset stripping company that so
and see, this still doesn't go against what I was trying to say. I personally think that if they used DMS and they used it with data visualization tools, it would have helped them out with backing up their files, and it would have also helped out at least a little bit when it comes to security. You know what I mean?
well I don't know about backing up the files, that's just a system administration thing. Um
Well,
from a sort of end user sort of response of being able to see each individual document. Yeah.
and like
But
collaborating on projects. You know what I'm saying? If you have people collaborating and working on files together, freaking, then each of them would be able to have their own backups for those files because they're actually interacting with one another with those visualization tools. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It would have helped them out with better insights. Um, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it would have been more efficient. Even they would have been able
But
to manage.
but it sounded like it was a lost cause company anyway because they didn't have many functional many sort of disaster recovery sort of
And that's where
services. Uh,
that's where it gets. Let me make sure that the audio is working because like I'm really suspicious. Yeah, there we go. It's
okay.
because this is where I
Okay.
started saying some shit. People don't like hearing shit on YouTube, but I think it was an inside job. To be honest with you, I
Uh,
this was freaking a high price freaking theft, if you ask me.